Oh, hey, we're live, I guess, right now. I tell you what, I'm all enthralled because I got to actually watch an English guy here watch a soccer match, football game, whatever, in which a goal almost happened, and got to see his reaction live as it happened. But it already happened, and you missed it, so...
Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans, by fans, with your hosts, Jesse Martin.
The Cowboys are finished, you understand me?
John Taman.
Pull down my trousers and do your job.
Scott Hartley.
That was dreadful.
And occasionally, Keith Gregg.
So many social engagements, so little time.
And now, your host.
Hey, that's me. I'm your host. I'm relatively on time today and somewhat together. So, we're all starting off pretty well today. It's Hat Day on the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast. And the only reason it's Hat Day on the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast is because our buddy down there, Scott from Barrow and Furnace, UK. And his dopey buddy from the One Point Safety Show decided to think that they were going to laugh at my hat and say I look like the man from Del Monte. So So it is Hat Day here on the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast. We might as well get things straight over here so I know which way to point. Because there's my good friend Jesse wearing himself a nice hippie-looking hat. Man, that's looking pretty cool. Oh, and you got the headphones on it. There you go.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable this way, but there you go.
All right. The Hat Day only has to last until you're tired of wearing a hat. And Scott down there, of course, wearing his wife's hat. What?
Absolutely. Wearing my wife's sun hat, yeah.
I
don't wear hats. I even tried to find a beret from when I was in the military, and I can't find one.
Beret. That's probably why you went into a store and asked for a beret, and they went, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Look, I am disappointed in you, sir. You are a proper English gent. You've got to have at least an Andy Cap hat laying around that you have to put on. I mean, it's kind of like a national rule, isn't it?
No, not at all. We're not all out of Peaky Blinders, John. So
I didn't say Peaky Blinders. You always gotta get away with a good trilby there.
I was looking for the hat and I could not find it. I have one somewhere. I just don't know where it was. That's the hat that I wanted to wear.
John's going to do fast wardrobe change, is he?
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you got to get yourself one of these, man. You go around town looking sharp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So it is Hat Day here on the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast, as I am sure everybody is so fucking thrilled to find out. We're going to try to figure out some stuff to talk about the Washington Commanders. It is July. There's absolutely nothing going on. None of our players got their fingers blown off on the 4th of July yesterday. So that's
not that we know of.
I think we'd have heard about it by now. It is the social media world. Scott, you guys had an election yesterday, didn't you?
We did, yeah, overnight. And oddly enough, I'm a bit of a political geek when it comes to it that way. I love to stay up. So I went to bed at about 10:30, just after the exit poll came out.
Right.
And then I got up at just after midnight and watched it through till about 4 a.m.
Right.
And then when my local seat was called, I then called it a day. So, yep, a general election landslide for the Labour Party, and Sir Keir Starmer is now our new Prime Minister.
And here's a picture of him right here. He's looking like he's getting ready to go out there and do some good governing. Congratulations to you.
Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. That's not too far from the truth, John. Let's be honest.
Well, I don't know.
They're all the same. Nothing changes. So, yes. And that looks like Nigel Farage from the Reform Party.
There he is right there. Good on him. All right. Okay. So nothing happened in Washington Commanders land. So that's good. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I mean,
how was your treason day to both of you? No, on a serious note, happy 4th, and I hope you had a good time off.
the memes yesterday was probably the best part.
Yes, it was the best part. And to be fair, we've given more Independence Days to anyone else in the world. So, congratulations.
You're like the Buffalo Bills of the world. You guys keep losing revolutions.
You're in home.
And I got to tell you why, too. I'll tell you why. Number one reason why you people keep losing elections is fucking steak and kidney pie. You people invented that with a good piece of steak, and everybody said, get these fucking idiots out of here. Jesus.
Put some kidneys in it, yeah. Just what you wanted, yeah. I actually like good steak and kidney pie. It's nice.
I'm sure. There you go. Delicious.
Side of blood pudding.
Enjoy your blood sausage. No, it's black pudding. It's not called
It's blood pudding. I swear on my life, it's blood pudding.
Yeah, it's black pudding. It's just black pudding.
It's pudding with blood sausage in it. Don't fucking lie.
Modulate your
I
microphone
know
there,
it's
Scotty.
a delicacy.
Look on your settings and see if there's a setting down there that's to adjust your.
I will look at that.
There's one of these reduced mic background noises, and what I found, or echo cancellation. What I found that it does is it turns you off when things are going on.
Yeah.
So
I've
just check that out.
put cancellation on and
No, just just make sure they're both off. I guess because I don't know how this thing doesn't come with any instructions whatsoever. We just get on here and figure it out. So all right, so we wanted to talk about some projections for the season and what we think is going to happen because really, honestly, there isn't jack shit else to talk about. So we might as well. So Jesse, what is it you're expecting record-wise? I mean, you might as well throw the big one out there.
I mean, I've pretty much been consistent all along when I think we're hovering around a 500 type team.
So let me ask you this. If you've been consistent all along, why are we doing a podcast today to say it again?
I mean, you're the one that sent the message out earlier.
I did. I said, let's do a podcast.
I think there's a path to 10 wins, but I also see a path to 7 wins. I don't think we're going to go anything below that.
Mm-hmm.
I think anything below 7 wins, something isn't right. But I do see, that 8-9 area right there, and I think we should be encouraged if that happens.
Yeah, I'd say
that would be us pointed in the right direction. We can only do so much this offseason, and they did a lot. I mean, I think what
they did
done
everything.
This offseason is more than probably most of us expected. I think
practically pretty much everything but left tackle has the question at least answered and say this is what we're going to go with. Right, the answer that we have at left tackle, but every other answer that they've put out for these questions that we've had have at least been reasonable. Wouldn't you say, Scott?
Even though some of them are short-term answers.
Sure. Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, they've got a lot of 1- and 2-year contracts. So, Scott, would you think that? First off, what's your projection?
So I've always been similar to Jesse. I've always said 7 thereabouts is about right, but I can see a path as easily to 5. As easily as I can see 8, 9, 10 wins. There is a way to get to 10. Realistically, I think 7 is a good call. I agree with you, Jesse, as well, that if we were to fall below 7 and 500, in the 500 range, you'd be thinking to yourself, that's probably a disappointing season or something's gone wrong in a stretch of that period where you maybe gone, right, well, we've lost 4 on the bounce here. What's gone on? What injuries have occurred? We don't know, but I think we could go quite easily from as low as 5 up to 10. It's going to be real. It's all down to Jaden Daniels, really. That is the key thing, and how this offensive line plays.
I think that's the main key right there. But I'm glad at least you were somewhat emphatic in your non-committal of anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Anywhere between 5 and 10.
It's been an election, John, and I've just obviously swallowed.
It's the day after the
4th.
Day after the 4th of July. I'm sure that you're probably depressed anyway. Stupid colonists. Anyway, I tell you what. I'm
Did you see what
fucking colonials?
Fucking colonials. I am.
It looks like you're holding up to Merrick Kenway's cock right there when you.
It's a big bottle of water. Oh shit.
Anyway, I'm not going to go down that road today. I'm kind of with you both when it comes to.
I'm just watching.
The key of the whole thing is whether they can keep Jaden Daniels upright. I think if he stays on his feet and stays healthy, dude, anything can happen. This is the NFL nowadays where guys come in and are ready to play, man. And I'm not saying that dude, I'll tell you what, if they keep him on his feet, anything can happen. Anything can happen. 10 wins is definitely doable, seeable. If he gets hurt, if he gets banged around a lot, if they can't protect him, I can say I'm with Scotty. It could go down to 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's look.
They got to keep him upright. That's it. They got to keep him healthy. Give him time.
If the words coming out of the camp, even getting some national love like Jeremy Fowler, Lewis Riddick, and them talking about, how people around the league are. I can't take, I take that with a grain of salt, but we're hearing all the right things. And say he has a, rookie year like an RG3, 10 wins is definitely feasible. I mean, this schedule, the slate of games that we have, our schedule is not that bad.
It's meant to be a bottom place schedule, Jesse.
Yeah, so there's definitely a path for a winning record. Like, I know our buddy Cam's in the chat, and I really would like to know. We appreciate your being here, buddy. I would really like to know. I haven't heard from Canada Mike in a long time.
He has said 12 wins.
Again this year? Yeah, okay. I thought he was going to go 17 or 18, 17 and up. That's where I was figuring he was going because, the quarterback switch.
I'm just watching the penalty shootout between Portugal and France.
That's
right, Jesse.
just like
Tell him.
Cameron
This is
said,
why we fought a revolution. Take your football out of here. Go ahead, Jesse.
Just like Cameron said, most of the outlets are having us, winning 4 or 5 games this year. But then you hear one thing, projections from them, but then you're hearing glowing reviews from Jaden Daniels. It's like, which one is it? Because to me, it does. If you have the quarterback, that's at least 8 wins right there. If you have a franchise quarterback,
If you can keep him up,
Yeah.
you got to protect him. It's plain and simple. You got to protect him, unless you have a Patrick Mahomes who can run 600 yards all over the game, while he's making 300 yards worth of passes.
Well, we know he can do things with his feet, John, as well, which helps. He is a mobile quarterback, which does help. You're going to see, hopefully, the way the protections are and the way that they scheme it up, that there's a lot of more involvement in the running game, and also quick plays. The where tackles don't have to be holding so long. There's no drop backs. There's no 5-7 step drop backs waiting to pass. Hopefully, then that gives Jaden a chance to get out. So I agree. If you find the guy, I'm more interested in that. Have we found the franchise quarterback? For me, wins isn't that important. It's about can he perform at that level, and do we now have to then think to ourselves, well, we don't have to worry about finding the guy.
Really, I think that depends on the offensive line. If they're gonna get him killed, there's no way we're gonna know. You know what I mean?
True.
We know the offensive line has a lot to do with it, but I want to talk about.
They're the
how we
biggest
can
question.
get there.
We know that.
How can we? What has to happen for us to get to 9 wins, 10 wins? What do we need from the likes of Jahan Dotson, the likes of the defense? Like the defense is going to play a big role in this. It's not just we're always talking about this offensive line. Let's be real here. It was a middle of the pack because the offensive lines in the leagues are bad. So you got to be able to compensate that somehow because there's only so many elite offensive line in this entire league.
Right.
So you have to have your role players step up. You have to have Terry going for 1,300 yards, Jahan for closing on 1,000 yards. You have to have our defense, not be the 32nd rated defense in the NFL. It can't be all on Jaden Daniels.
Well, no, and it's not. Like I said, what everything boils down to, it's a combination of a lot of different things. We saw last year what happens when you have no idea how to adjust for any kind of adversity whatsoever. You don't move the pocket, you don't get anything out on a roll, you don't use the advantages that Hal shows he could have. This year, the offensive line is so important, but as much important as it's the play calling and how they design this offense to be able to keep him safe, to be able to get the ball out of his hands, or be able to set things up. Because you said so, Scott, the running game's going to be big, and I have to think that there's going to be a lot of design runs using him, because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have one of those quick 3-step drop backs and then take off and run? This shit works a lot. So they'll get him outside. They'll get him doing all kinds of other things. I'm in the middle of doing some stupid joke here, so why don't you guys take over and keep talking about something while I finish doing this?
Well, I just watched the cheese-eating surrender monkeys win the penalty shootout against Portugal. So, thanks for that.
What was that?
I tell you what.
The surrender monkeys?
Yeah, the cheese-eating surrender monkeys,
Yeah,
our
he's-
arch enemy.
Yeah,
Fuck you, France.
That's
And
right.
everything you stand for. Remember Agincourt.
Oh,
Anyway,
this is how he gets on the 5th of July. See how he is? They get all salty over there.
just football. The other
Oh,
football.
shit. What the hell is that?
Just watch that. They've just beat Portugal 5-4 on penalties. So Germany went out as well earlier, which is an interesting one. So
France versus Portugal.
it's a good game, John. It's a good game.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Anytime you get some penalty kickouts, it's fun. But fuck, I don't care. We're talking about some Commanders football.
Yeah, we are.
Not really. So so anyway, Jesse, you had asked a question about what does it take? What's it going to take?
What is it going to take?
Right.
Like
What's it gonna
seriously, you can't just pinpoint it on the offensive line because obviously good coaches can scheme around a poor offensive line. We've seen it time and time again. Like, what do we need? Who needs to step up and who needs to have a big year for this, for this, team to get over that hump, for it to go in the right direction, the direction it's supposed to go into.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm down on the offensive line is my number one choice. They have to have a goddamn good year. They have to be able to keep him safe. And that left tackle, whoever it is, has got to be able to play at an NFL level. And that is bad. That's what our expectation is. Just play at the level of this freaking league, man. Just do that. Don't be incompetent out there. Don't get out there and freaking embarrass yourself and get our brand new quarterback, who I think has all the skill, hurt. Because that's the chief thing that can derail his entire career is get hurt. And for
Scotty?
more obvious things, yeah, go ahead, Scott.
No, I agree with you. I do agree with you completely. I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, yeah, running game is where it's going to be. Everything's got to click for us to get to that magical 10 wins. Jahan Dotson, he's going to have to come out from a quite poor second season to bounce back and show us exactly what he can do. Mm-hmm. We know we're not. I don't think we're overreaching and asking for much out of McCaffrey. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this wide receiver core as well, because is Terry going to drop off? Is he going to continue to get to 10 to 1,000, 1,100, 1,200? Who knows? Do you know what I mean? So we'll wait and see what happens.
A well-fed scarecrow.
It's the Wurzel Gummidge look, Andy. That's what it is, man. It's the Wurzel Gummidge look.
I said wide receiver was a big need when we were heading towards the draft. People aren't really giving this a look because of how sparse it all really actually is. And I think that we've done all right with it. Dotson, he's got to bounce back. I expect that he will bounce back. I've seen him play his whole career from freaking as a sophomore on up. And last year was a complete anomaly. I expect him to bounce back. I'm talking like 800, 900 yards, maybe even touch 1,000 yards, depending on how well the offense goes. He'll do just fine. Oh, Scott's got a new hat. Let's see here.
Mine's twofold. It starts with the defensive line. I think somebody out of this motley crew.
Fuck is that?
It's his hat. Yeah, that's a nice hat.
The motley crew of defensive ends that we have needs to step up and have a double-digit sack season. Whether it's one of the young bucks and Andre Jones or KJ Henry or Armstrong. Like somebody's got to step up, and then if one of them, we get a guy with 11, 12 sack season, our corners. That's what scares the shit out of me about this team. Our corners need to not fucking suck.
Well,
and
that's obvious.
Yeah,
they better not suck.
They have, and they got to step up. Whether it's a Mike Williams, whether it's Forbes, whether it's BSJ. I don't think BSJ is long for this team, but somebody's got to step up. So we're not giving up 30 points a game. And if we don't, if we can pull that average down to, 24 points a game, I think this offense is going to score. I do. It might be a little bit tough in the beginning of the season, just trying to get their bearings and to work as a team. But I think towards the, middle and end the season, I think this offense could be kicking on all cylinders, but our defense is going to have to back them up and not give up 30 points a game.
Well, dude, honestly, you sound like I sound for the last 2 off seasons when we're trying out new experimental offenses with really not as much talent and some questions as to what we're gonna see. That we have to keep it down to 24 points. 24 points is the golden number, right? We average roughly 20 to 21. I didn't see what we averaged last year. I'm sure it was abysmal, but typically speaking, for the entire Norv era, 20 to 21 points is what we average. And I kept saying, if we can just get that one extra touchdown per week, just get that one extra 6 points per week, we can do a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm not asking to be a top 10 defense, man. I want to be a top 20 defense. You know, just be good enough.
Anything's better than the basement. Yeah,
not to give up 30 fucking points a game. That's all I'm asking. It's not too much.
I got to say this to the defensive players that are paying attention tonight. I know you're all out there. If you lose a game by being as bad as that defense has been for the last 3 years, when they shouldn't have been that bad, I think they should all have to wear Scotty's hat. I think that we should give it to F.A. Obata, have him take it with him to camp, and any of them that have any goddamn doubts have to put on Scotty's hat. Any of them that fail to jump on a fumble have to put on Scotty's hat. Any of them that get beat in a flat route have to put on Scotty's hat. And I'm going to throw a name at you, Jesse, when you're saying who's going to step up on that defensive line for some sacks, Scotty. Jamin Davis. They're going to put that man down with his hand in the dirt, and he is going to have himself a time.
I hope so, but, man, it's looking more and more like he's going to be a potential surprise cut candidate to me, along with
That's a big win. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go right here. This is what you tuned in for today, is to hear something stupid like that.
This young linebacker.
We know it's your
what's his name?
Andre Jones?
No, linebacker they drafted this year.
Oh, linebacker.
Yeah, the kid in the 5th round.
Hampton? Dominique Hampton?
No, he's the safety.
Fucking who's the goddamn fourth round? Was it fourth round linebacker?
Yeah.
Fucking what the hell is his fucking name?
Jordan McGee.
Jordan McGee. I think he takes. I think he takes Jamie Davis' spot.
Supposed to be a fan. Neither of us can get it.
Now you sound like me. I had his name. It was right. I knew who it was.
John Bostic and David Mayer.
Oh, don't even start with that. No, I'm gonna have enough of that nonsense. You stick with your new prime minister.
I think Jamin Davis is in trouble. I do.
See, I don't think so. I think that the man has got enough raw skill and power that on that defensive line, at the defensive end position where I hear that they're trying him out, I don't see them having so much talent there that they can ignore that.
But if you listen to like the likes of John Keim and the likes of everybody that's been there, that's been watching this OTAs, he hasn't looked good.
What do they know?
The defensive end. He has no bend.
Okay.
And this is his first. This is his first year as trying out as a pass rusher too. So and we do got to wait until the pads come on, but
move him around.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
All right, so you got him down as a surprise cut. We're going to put that in the paper tomorrow.
He's a surprise cut candidate, along with Derek Forrest. I still don't like Derek Forrest.
I understand Derek Forrest. Everyone's raving about him. I can totally get you from that side. It's him or Percy Butler.
That's who I think.
Candidates.
Percy Butler's the candidate.
Prime candidates.
But if you look at it, it's like where does Jamin fit in this? Is he going to? Because he doesn't play special teams. He hasn't played special teams. Like
he's a north-south player.
You're only going to keep 5 linebackers on this team.
Let's drill down into this, gents, because last time I thought when we talked about this, I thought we let ourselves off the hook by saying, oh well, this person's special teams and yes, that's special teams. How many special teamers can you actually have? Like genuinely,
all special teamers are backups.
Yeah,
no, I know,
pretty
I get
much.
that. But there's some players on this roster who are here who must be seriously
only special teams, right?
Going, Christian Holmes, for example, even Jeremy Reeves.
I don't know that Reeves is because he can play both. He can play both, and he plays one of them at an All-Pro level.
But there you go. But that's what I mean. You say that, but he wasn't an All-Pro last year.
He was hurt.
I know he was, but they've got no loyalty to him. They've got no loyalty to him.
They don't have no loyalty.
No, they don't.
Saying,
but no, they don't. What I see what you're saying, but the fact of the matter is, we've seen the skill.
Where you're coming from. Absolutely.
It's not a bunch of hot air. It's that when they look at him and say, okay, we didn't pick this guy, can he still play at an all-pro level at special teams? And if he can, then he's here. Because he can also play as a starter if he needs to be, if he's pressed, on defense. I think that he's shown his ability to be that kind of a
There's a big old hairy butt in
guy.
this situation that we're not talking about, though.
Oh, here he is, the new Prime Minister of England.
Special teams is so different. It's different now.
Yes, it is.
Different.
Massive.
Yes, it is. Tell you
So-
what, maybe can Jamin Davis return a kickoff? Can he carry the ball?
He could bowl some motherfuckers over. I know that.
Carry that
'Cause
ball.
He's
with
huge. He's
two
big.
hands
James
down
Davis
around
is a
his
big
nuts
guy.
like freaking Chris Cooley did. He carried that ball way so low. All right, go ahead.
It's going to be very tough, isn't it? I mean, there are some real hard cuts. I think when you get into towards the end of this roster, because
It's crazy because if you think about Quinn's defenses in the past, he rarely uses three linebackers. Rarely uses three linebackers. He always has.
Yeah, but he's the head coach.
Safety.
He's got two other defensive coordinators that are going to be handling that
I
stuff.
think I think Joe Witt. He's been with Quinn long enough that I mean, not hardly any team uses three linebackers anymore.
Can you see Davis running that Micah Parsons role? The
No.
roamer that roams all
Not
over
as
the
good.
place?
Not
No, he's
nearly
not.
as
He's.
good.
I'm not saying he's anywhere close to the talent level. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying the role, the roamer.
I think if you were an established team and you had someone athletic like Jamin Davis, you could afford to keep him on a roster and play around with him and see what works. I don't know if they have the time to do that.
How many defensive ends are you keeping on this team?
See, this is all a numbers game, and this is why I'm thinking maybe possibly Jamin Davis might not make the team. Are you just going to keep him in there as a defensive end? Okay,
He's got to be able to beat somebody out like some of those seventh rounders, not KJ Henry, the other guy from last year.
Andre Jones, but you
Andre
still have
Jones.
Sealand Farrell. You have
Cleveland
Fowler.
Farrell, got-
You have
well, I'm looking. I'll read you it
Armstrong?
now, Jesse. I've got it here.
F.A.
So it's-
Obata?
That's what I mean.
Obata can be run as a
I don't wanna
defensive
say
tackle,
it.
but we got a lot of
but you-
defensive tackles too.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So
it-
Phil Mathis is a definite cut for me.
I
And
think
don't
so.
you're not keeping a guy like Jamin Davis over an F.A. Obata. I'm sorry, not going to fucking happen.
Damn, these takes are so fucking hot. I gotta say, Skipper.
Oh, my mic volume's low. Okay.
And I
No, you sound fine. You sound good.
am a Jamin Davis fan. I just don't know if I see a place on this team right now because I don't know. I was catching up on a lot of podcasts past couple of days, and a lot of people have been talking about Jamin Davis and just where does he fit? Where does he fit?
Like I said, maybe it could be that hybrid roam role, the guy that's all over the line, moves all over the line, and strikes as fast as he can because he does have power. We've seen him with speed to be able to chase down a quarterback in the open field. We've also seen him, get juked out of his feet that way too. But at the same time, I just can't see them letting go the potential that's there. I can't. Boy, I tell you, I
Mitchell
hate
will get
to-
you fired.
Well, I understand that, but I hate that. I don't want to sit here and say, my God, how bad were the first round picks of this last regime?
And I don't want to
shit.
get rid of talent either. And I think Jamin still has talent. I'm just not sure if his talent fits on this team. I think
Does that sound better?
You said it fine before.
I think he's a good weak side linebacker, and they don't use weak side linebackers. And Luvu is going to be that guy that's going to be rushing the passer. I mean, you're not going to start Jamin in front of Frankie Luvu. Luvu has proved time and time again he is that Micah Parsons role.
He was their number one drive assignee this year. He was the first guy they signed. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they've got plans for him that do not include Jamin Davis.
Brian's put in our chat here. He said, I see the 5 DNs as, there you go, Farrell, Fowler, Henry, Obada, Armstrong, and then Allen, Payne, Ridgway, and Newton. I kind of agree with you. Mathis gone, and then, there's some strong cuts there.
If you do that, Brian, that Ridgway, Mathis, and Jamin Davis in the F.A. Obata, those guys I kind of lump in together as someone's going to, 2 of those are going to get cut out of that group right there. I don't think it's going to be Obata because he's so versatile. He can play everywhere on that line.
He's so fucking
Plus,
long.
he's-
Dude,
And
he's got arms that are 8 feet
they
long.
just gave him a contract. Didn't they sign him to a 2-year deal?
No, 1 year.
It was
Yeah, 1 year deal. But he does.
Well,
I
they
think
signed him
in
quick,
terms
though.
of the length on the defensive line, he's got the longest arms out of all of them. Man,
But
that
I
dude
also- I
is
also
a
think
quarterback's
he-
nightmare.
I think he may be still on IR by the time the 53
It could be.
rolls round.
Yeah.
So
And-
then
and
you've got an extra
that-
defensive end anyway.
That might be even work out better in Obada's favor, because listen, they're not all going to stay healthy. Someone's going to get someone's going to
Yeah,
get
of course.
injured, and if luck has it for Obada's sake, you got an injury. Obada coming in off IR, he's got a roster spot right there.
There are going to be a lot of cuts on the defense.
I think they like
that's-
Obada. I do.
I do too, because he's played for them. He's played for Quinn at 2 different places. So one at Atlanta, and also went across with him. Well, no, I don't think he was at he wasn't the Cowboys when Quinn was there, but he's definitely been with him at Atlanta. So
Farrell Fowler.
Farrell
Deluxe.
Fowler, yeah.
Clelin
Exactly,
Farrell. Clelin Farrell.
I think it's Sealand.
Thank God, because it'll be very difficult for me to say that after like the
Cleland-
second quarter.
Cleland Farrell is what I.
Cleland
thought it as,
Farrell.
but You might be right. Who is So we're losing our 7th round pick then, in John Baptiste.
They could stash him on the
I think so,
practice
too.
squad.
Yeah, I think so.
At least
too.
try. They could.
I was watching some highlights of him night before last, matter of fact, and man, that kid can rush the fucking passer. Man, he was really good at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he could be one of those developmental prospects, and maybe stash him on the
Yeah, I mean,
on the practice squad. And
my wife and a few others here as well said it. I'm really low on the mic, so I don't know if my audio. You can hear me.
well, you have 19 pop filters on there, so I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It might be the hat.
it might be the hat.
It might be the hat. The microphone might be recognizing you as a lady and thinking that you should have soft tones. All right. So we're gonna get Scott turned way up. I know. I am a dickhead. I know. I like fucking with you, Scott. That's right. You're our official British guy here on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
Jesse's Castle Wentz was the over in the LA and San Francisco. It was 40.5 and turned out to be 41.
I gotta tell you, if I can manage to catch you doing that this time with that hat on,
Be right back.
All right, Gilligan's got to head over to the bush. All right, so when you're talking, I'm trying to move back to the offense right now. When you're looking at the wide receivers, all right, because we've got a big logjam on the defensive line. We've got a lot of freaking players on the defensive side that I think that's where, if we see surprise cuts, that's where we're going to get them. And to me, Jamin Davis would be a very big surprise cut. Not necessarily as much as Percy Butler would be, or even Derek Forrest would be. Although I'd be more surprised at Derek Forrest than Percy Butler. But on the offensive side, the wide receiver room looks a little crowded, although it's crowded more at the bottom end. So what do you see shaking out there, Tilly? I mean, Scott.
Tilly.
Sorry, mate. I'm just trying to
What the fuck?
at this camera. Tilly.
Oh, the cheeky bastard. I swear to God.
I honestly got about half of that because I was trying to sort out this microphone.
All right, stop sweating in my hat. That's right, Scott. Jesus. All right, so then Jesse, same question because I can't remember what the hell it was. Wide receiver room. It's crowded.
Yeah,
it's crowded.
listen,
it's crowded more at the bottom.
So,
how many of those guys can look at special teams? You're going to have two returns, right?
Jamin Crowder. I think
Jamison
Dimey
Crowder?
Brown is that's what I meant. Dimey Brown is looking on that cut. That he's teetering on that cut line right there. I don't think they're going to have him as our fourth wide receiver. He may be slip in as a fifth to sixth.
Mm-hmm.
But I think James Crowder makes this team on, as a kick returner, a punt returner alone. And then he is experienced, as a slot receiver. So I do like him there backing up Luke McCaffrey.
Right.
So you got
now you're
John?
penciling. You got McCaffrey starting, don't you?
I do have McCaffrey's. Maybe not like right away, but I think so. Right? I'd probably.
He'll play. He's
Yeah.
playing in Tampa Bay. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say he'll have a significant role unless he gets. And I'm not even going to say.
Yeah, and, you have Terry, Jahan, Luke, Jameson, Crowder, Zacchaeus,
Right. Let's see.
and then who fucking knows after that?
Because
I think that's your top 5 right there.
But don't
what's
they
his
usually keep
name?
6 or 7?
6. I don't think we haven't kept 7 receivers since the I think Mike Shanahan days. One interesting receiver to me. What's his name? Kinsley. Shit.
Oh, Tinsley, Mitchell Tinsley.
Tinsley. Yeah, Tinsley.
Right.
He
Practice squad
could
player
be
from last year.
he could be, depending upon how he developed over the summer, he could be interesting to look at this year.
I tell you what, you got that kickoff return now, and you got 2 guys back there, right? And yeah, that's where his skills lie. He's a good runner with the football. So you've got this guy Damier Byrd. Who the hell is this? I'm looking at their Commander's depth chart. They've got
they
third.
signed him
I haven't even seen that. Where's this guy
months
come
ago.
from?
Yeah,
a couple months ago.
Yeah, he's like a 7 year. 7 years he's been in that.
I have never heard his name once.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's nothing. He's probably going to be. He's a roster body.
Did we get him from the Titans? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, Titans wide receiver. Casimir Allen, he's sitting at the bottom of and this Bryson Tremaine. So I mean,
I think Tinsley has the better shot of making this team than Diami Brown. There, I said it.
No
I
chance.
said it.
0 chance.
I said it. I said it.
Dax
Bruce,
Milne
thanks
is
for being
still-
with us, buddy.
So I'm counting the wide receivers right now that they've got on their depth chart. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a dozen of them. All right, this Davion Davis. First off, Mr. and Mrs. Davis, you couldn't do any better than that. Davion Davis. I mean, good grief. Anybody with any kind of a speech impediment is going to have a hell of a time with his name.
I knew a kid named David
Davis.
I knew a guy named David Davis.
And speaking of stupid fucking names, Dax Milne. It's time for you to go.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
How is he
why
still
is he?
here?
That's this I don't understand. How is he still?
I will,
here?
Deuce. Huh?
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at it. I was asking about Dax Milne. What who's he blowing? How's he still here?
Who are you talking about?
Exactly. The guy who we don't know why he's still here. He's the guy under the table.
Yeah. And again, this is going to come down to special teams. What are they going to do at kickoff return? We don't know yet. We have no clue. I don't think they have a clue yet. They've been trying out defensive backs. They've been trying out running backs. Who fucking knows how
They
that's
tried out a
going?
toothpick. They tried out the human toothpick. So, yeah, I think they ought to. I've seen they tried out Brian Robinson. I think it's going to be Austin Eckler and then one of these wide receivers. Olamide Zacchaeus.
Chris Rodriguez?
Olamide? Is that how you say his name? Olamide?
Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus?
Yeah.
He's on the team.
I think so. I think he's that number
on the
4
team.
wide receiver. But out of 12 wide receivers, keeping 5 means, man, that's a lot of guys that are going to go. I'm thinking they got to keep 6 at least. Otherwise, what are you bringing?
Yeah, I
all
think
in
they'll
for?
keep 6. They'll keep 6.
Dax is still on his rookie
I
contract.
think we could. We only kept 5 last year. I think.
Tell you
We
what,
went with 5 last year, Jesse. Yeah,
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Dax
yeah.
is still on his rookie contract. I
And I'd be interested to hear Deuce's take on this. How are they going to, who's that extra man that you're going to keep, whether it's defensive backs, running backs, wide receivers, or hell, even fucking tight ends, you're going to use for the kickoff? Like what, because one of those spots is going to have an extra spot for that primary kickoff role. Because I don't think they're going to want to put a Brian Robinson back there. They're not going to want to put one of your top 3 receivers back there. I doubt they're going to put a cornerback back there. Who's that extra piece you're going to keep on the roster for your kickoff returns? Because there's 2 of them back there. You have 2 of them back there.
I didn't
I
realize
think
that
the
Yam could return kicks. According to Scotty.
Yeah, true. That's it. Yeah, I'm just saying the tight end is the biggest The tight end room's the one that intrigues me the most, I think.
We know the three. We know the three. You got Bates, you got Ertz, and you got Sinnott. After that,
who knows? I'm still on the who knows about Bates.
Do you think we keep 4? Because it was 4 last year. So do you think we go with 4 again?
It depends. Like this kickoff really changes a lot of those kinds of things because a tight end.
Crowder came in later. I believe. Yeah, Crowder came in later in the year.
Yeah, they traded.
But you are right.
Did they trade for him? Was it like a low
No,
round?
no.
They just picked him up.
Yeah, he was a free agent.
Okay, one of the better moves Ron ever made. And I lost my train of thought. So go ahead, Gilligan.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about either.
I don't either. I was talking about the wide receivers, but I can't remember. Oh, it's the kickoff. The kickoff changes so many things. The tight ends, because they can run and they're big and they know ostensibly they've been trained how to block. I think that you could see more than one of those guys that are at the bottom of that depth chart because this kickoff changes so many different things. What do you think?
That is why I'm thinking Amari Rodgers makes this team. Makes 52. I think he makes it over Cole Turner.
The thing with Cole Turner is if you're a healthy scratch at the end of the season when you've got nothing to play for
all season
and you are fit,
let's be real here. Was there any competence whatsoever on the offensive coaching staffs last year?
No. You can take the offensive part right on out of it. On the staff at all.
Okay,
no, there was not.
You're right.
No, there was not.
So, taking about the skill that we know we've seen from Cole Turner, that we've seen some other players, you can even put Jahan Dotson in that same fucking category, right?
Tell you what, some of those guys that Cole Turner was beating in preseason delivered my packages today.
This is true, but Jahan Dotson was doing the same thing too. What can we take from that from last year? I don't think we can take anything from it.
No, nothing. Everybody gets a pass except for Wiley. That's the one thing we can take from last year is Wiley fucking stinks.
Give him his 4 games. The last 4 games. He was good his last 4 games.
Well, you know what? When they say it's a sliding scale, it's sliding because there's shit all over the floor.
I was saying that for Scott G's benefit.
For Scott.
He loves Wiley.
Scott.
And he thinks I flip-flop him. I hate him. I don't think he should be on the team, but again, I'm just going
money's
back
keeping him around.
Yeah.
Scott, your hat is lovely. What are you doing there?
just trying to sort my hat out here. More of an East 17 moment, just like that. There you go. Look at that.
Oh, there.
So wear it. Yeah.
Tell you what, you know what he looks like? You know what he looks like? He looks like, I want to be a dentist. The fucking elf from the goddamn Rudolph thing. I want to be a dentist.
Fuck off with the dentist jokes.
You ain't never seen that, Scotty. It's fucking funny as shit.
No, he's never seen it, I'm sure. What the hell was that guy's name? All right. Well, I'm going to go find a picture so you guys talk. I'm going to find this picture right away. We'll show it to Scott.
So let's talk about this fucking tight end room. Let's talk about
let's talk about it. Let's drill it down.
All right. Zach Ertz, I need him to have a big year. I think he's going to have a big year. I drafted him on my Dynasty Fantasy League, so I need 2 good years out of him. I'm begging you, Zach. Fucking begging you. And I think he's going to have a good year.
Okay.
Sinnott is the one that is going to be our future. What the fuck is that? My kids. That's my kid's hat when they were babies.
My daughter's bucket hat.
To the pool.
I look a bit like Liam Gallagher.
Liam Gallagher. You gotta
Fucking
dance
Wonderwall.
like
Wonderwall over there.
monkey if you do him. Jesus Christ.
All right, lad, this one's called Cigarettes and Alcohol.
But when do we see Sinnott, go from that tight end 2 role into the star that we think he can be?
Skater.
Yeah. I wanted to be a dentist.
Now he looks like Cartman. You need a yellow shirt. Or anyway. All right, anyway.
Cause mom sees big fat bitch, the biggest bitch in the whole wide world.
Jesus Christ. I'm the one here drinking. You two are drinking water, for Christ's sakes. Look at that.
Healthy.
I know, healthy. All right, so yeah, the tight end room. Again, I'm not going to make any call on any of them because I think they're all except for Sinnott. I'm not even so sure about Bates. And yeah, here we go with the old man in the.
Listen, I'm not worried about Bates. Like
no, the veteran they signed. God damn it,
Ertz.
Christ. Yep, Ertz. Those are the two that I'm sure of. Is those him and Sinnott. Bates. I'm not all that impressed. I'm sure he's going to probably make the team because he's big and he can block somewhat.
He's our only blocking tight end, and he is a good blocking tight end. No, he didn't. Nobody had a good year last year.
Yeah,
but he is. But we've been saying I'm putting that blame on fucking coaching and not necessarily on the players because we've seen John Bates play well.
But by the same token, all right, we're sitting here talking about Jamin Davis being a potential cut because we can't find a place for him.
Sure.
So these guys were vouched for by this fucking regime who couldn't get a first round pick right. If you fucking handed it one, here, this is the one, take this guy. They couldn't do it. They couldn't get it right.
Was Bates a Ron pick? Bates was a Ron pick, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. He's only been in the league 3 years, so he's a Ron pick. But I mean, granted, they're not first-round picks or anything like that. But when you say everybody gets a pass because of last year's coaching, I agree. But then again, everybody that this group drafted has to be looked at with one eyebrow up because it hasn't been. They have not done well.
You're right, John. So the only person that you can vouch for and say they got lucky with, and it was luck rather than finding the pick, is Cosme. And it was only when he moved to guard that he's playing.
He's a second-round pick. Cam Curl, but he's gone now. He's in San Francisco.
Did we read?
Cam Curl
in all honesty,
high or not?
Yes.
The point was
he had a good year, a good rookie year. And
that's what I'm saying.
Well, it's not about being high. It's not like saying he's going to be a Pro Bowl player, but he was a 7th-round pick that worked. All right, he's a 7th-round pick that starts.
That was a shot in the dark.
That's you got to say something for that. So they have gotten some right.
That was the dart shot, and everybody gets lucky sometimes.
Okay. I guess so.
No, I understand that because when it came to his contract, Jesse, and how he signed for obviously the Rams, and look at that.
We could have easily signed him back. We could have easily signed him back for that money.
Look at John goes. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's been on John. It's John's shite.
I'm in this fucking thing the way that you guys set me up, and no, I didn't go anywhere. Wait a minute. As
soon as you went mute, it's amazing. Now the sound is brilliant. I mean, I've got full.
See, there's
HD.
Nothing coming through anywhere.
There's nothing coming through.
I don't know, dude. There you go, Jesse. This is a great chat. Perfect. But I don't know. I saw the sign. Ace of Base, 1994. There you go.
Oh, thank you. I'll tell you what, you are chock full of fucking information.
Yam's got a good point. But this team was bad last year.
True, very, very
But
true.
there was good pieces on it that basically got
badly used.
When you're go week in and week out, getting misused, and seeing the coaching strategy, they're not on the coach. If the coaching staff isn't on the same page, you think the players are going to be on the same page?
They didn't even have the book. They weren't even in the same fucking library, for Christ's sakes.
If Jaden is half as good as we think he's going to be, he is going to mask some of the problems, but he's also going to elevate.
Right.
The players that we do have.
So what Yam says is he's tired of people acting like Jaden is a cure-all already. However, in the NFL, a franchise quarterback is a cure-all. The Patriots won all those Super Bowls no matter which offense they put Tom Brady in.
That's true.
Okay? A quarterback can make all the difference in the world.
Not saying he's going to be Tom Brady.
No, not at all.
Thinking that is
not at all
stupid to think that way.
Not at all. I'm old, and anybody wants to come at me with that. You know what you're going to get.
But you're right, John. If
get off my lawn,
proves to be a franchise quarterback, that sets this team up.
Here's the thing. Well, here's what I was going to say. The team was bad, but like Jesse said, and we all knew, they were coached so poorly, so effing poorly. So when you look at it, our wide receivers, all right, when you're talking about the starting 3 or 4 that are going to be out there the majority of the time, Not bad. All right, you going to tell me that you're going to turn away Terry McLaurin or Jahan Dotson? I don't think so. I'm not saying they're all pro or Pro Bowl, but they're good enough to be able to be out there and be effective. We've got a decent tight ends. We've got Ertz is a pro. All right, that dude is a fucking pro, and wherever he's gone, he succeeds. He's a damn good tight end. We've got Sinnott, who we think should be a decent pass catching tight end. We've got running backs. Brian Robinson is a goddamn nightmare when he's got the ball, and when you feed him.
Eckler is great out of the backfield.
He really is. So I mean, I think we've got some excellent running back in the backfield. I believe so. So yeah, if Daniels can stay up in front of the big question mark or behind the big question mark that's in front of him, this team was bad, but I think that they, in terms of their parts, can be a lot better than they showed up. And that defense, that fucking defense, the one that we had last year, should have been so much better. Should have been so much better that we shouldn't have had the fact that they were 32nd 2 years out of that fucking clown's term. 2 out of 4 years that fucking team was either last or 31st. It's inexcusable with the kind of talent and just the
flip side of that is they were top 5 of the other 2 years.
Right. The expenditure on that defense. I think 6 first-round picks off the top of my head over the last 8 years. Right, go to that defense, and the underperforming of that fucking defense. I have to think when you hear at the end of the season that we're given 4 playbooks as a rookie, they've got to be better just by fucking showing up. They've got to be better.
Let me throw this out here, and Scott's probably going to kick me in the head for me saying this. Scott Turner, when he was the OC, okay, we didn't have a good quarterback. Okay, we had Heineke, we had about 11 other quarterbacks during his term, but we had very similar skill position players on this team. And we were able to move the ball in between the 20s. That wasn't a problem. Scott Turner's problem was once he got into the red zone and up to the goal line, he got predictable and couldn't punch the ball in. And then we didn't have a quarterback to actually, overcome that. Well, what if now that we do, okay?
Right.
Now we have a Cliff Kingsbury's offense. We're not going to know exactly what it's going to be. We don't. But we have to think that it's got to be better than Scott Turner's offense.
Dude, I thought the offense he schemed up for Kyler Murray was fantastic.
Okay. So,
well, maybe not fantastic, but it was pretty good.
We were decent. Our points per game sucked because we couldn't score, but everything else was pretty damn good. And a lot of the skill players that we have today are the same skill players that we had back when Turner was the officer. I thought Turner did a hell of a lot better of a job than fucking the Fuckmeister.
Here he goes with his Scott Turner.
What's that asshole's name? That was
the knothead. Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy. I thought Turner was better than Eric Bieniemy. And
Brent Vesselmeyer.
Oh, good gracious!
That's all I'm saying.
And we don't have the Wieselmeyer anymore, too. So
that's what I'm saying. Wieselmeyer. Yeah.
I think you can look at this team now, and yes, it was bad last year, fucking horrendous last year. I don't think it was necessarily all on the team, and we also filled some holes that were greatly needed to be filled. We actually have a good fucking. God damn it!
So I'm just laughing at Yam because where it says Turner was better than Milk Dud EB, I read that as he was better than Eid Mubarak. I was like, what?
That really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Although I will ask you this: one of these days, I am going to get with you, Yam, and find out just what the fuck that shit is that you post on your Twitter feed. I don't understand any of that stuff.
Yeah,
you come up with some
idea.
Yeah.
So if we can look back to the days of Scott Turner and actually be,
do we have to?
No.
Actually be,
the most frustrating thing about this team since Dan Snyder owned it seems like. Is the fact that once they got down inside the 5, they flounder over and over and over again.
Besides the years
from Gruden on, we just couldn't punch it in.
Gruden had a couple of good years.
We could never punch it in though. When we get down to the one, we're dead.
With Kirk, he did have a couple good years with Kirk. But other than that, then we had a good year with RG3. I still think we only averaged like 23 points a game that year, or something like that.
Our defense was like 4th that year, if I remember right.
But I think I think overall we were able to move the ball. We just couldn't fucking score. I think now with the quarterback, okay, and we've elevated our skill position players. Okay, we got an Austin Eckler, which I think is better than Antonio Gibson. We got a rookie slot receiver, and that may take some time. I forget who was the slot receiver. It was another white boy, wasn't it? Not Dax Milne, but who was that other slot receiver we had a couple years ago?
The white one. That was the guy who was the last pick in the draft.
Yeah. What was his name?
Mr. Irrelevant.
What was his name?
Shit, I don't know.
But I think we
rubbish.
He was the white one we had a couple years ago. That's who he is.
But I think we've gotten better. So I'm erasing last year's offense. That's
not like it's that hard to do, dude. There was nothing to it. You know what? Where did we go? I had this up here a minute ago, and I was talking about the fact that we never could seem to ever score from the goal line. Toothpick puts up here, it's not like they didn't practice goal line offense, and you're right, they did. Yeah. But am I wrong in that? It just seems I go on a lot of times about seams. When we get down to the 1 yard line from the start of the Gruden era on up, we just can't get it.
Trey Quinn.
Well, yeah, there you go, Trey Quinn. There you go.
Trey Quinn. Good
grief. You looked that up, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
You did.
I couldn't. I just wrote in Mr. Irrelevant because
I'm sorry.
Reason,
if you are named Trey Quinn, a guy named Trey Quinn has to wear.
How white is your name?
He wears an Izod. He's got a pink fucking sweater knotted around his goddamn neck.
Yes, a freaking wasp if I've ever seen
He's got a braided belt with his shirt tucked into his shorts. Also known as Scott on vacation.
I'm getting absolute dog's abuse off my wife. Stop stretching my hat out with your fat silverback head.
Silverback head. Oh, man, that's pretty good. Well, just put it up on the top. There you go. So let's talk about our running back room. I like it.
Yeah.
I kind of mentioned it a couple of minutes ago, but I really like Brian Robinson. I really like Brian Robinson.
Who posted that? Somebody posted this.
I don't know, but last year when
my favorite addition to the running back room is the running back coach himself.
Absolutely.
I think.
Anytime somebody can look at our running back room and see that there's a sign on it that says running back, because when fucking Bieniemy walked past it, he was looking at the floor. Anytime I would see. We always heard, in the second half, that's when Brian Robinson really starts to show up. No, it's because that's when he starts giving him the ball, and he's already down by fucking 25 points, and nobody's playing the run. You give Brian Robinson the ball. He is one of those backs. They don't exist too much anymore. The 25 carry plus club. I guarantee you give him the ball 20 times a game. When he gets to that 15 through 20 carry range, they're going to start going for 8 yards, 9 yards, 7 yards.
Every time I think of Brian Robinson, that game against in that play against the Falcons, where ran over
that dude.
That dude bounced like 7 yards back.
He got fined for that.
That man, Robinson he's a true power back. I mean, he's not like a Derrick Henry or anything like that, but he is nothing but a ball of fucking muscle.
Dude, a bowl of muscle?
A bowl of muscle.
All right, that's what Jesse orders at Hooters. Anyway, I was the Valiance is right. We got 3 people that push the like button on this show. You're not having fun? I see there's a bunch of people looking at us right now, which always surprises me. But push the thumbs up button. Give us a like. Tell everybody we're good. Go tell your parents to come in and watch. Scott won't cuss, I swear to God. In fact, you can show them an actual British man wearing a British lady's hat here on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
It's to make sure, well, with my complexion and my hairline, which is receding dramatically, but when you do look at my hair, it's in autumn sunset, some people call it. Maybe burnt sienna is more of the color that I'm looking at. And us redheads, John, shall we say, we stick together. So the light that's in front of me is actually burning my soul as we speak. So, yeah. I've
Yeah,
got
I
to be
agree with
careful. That's
Toothpick.
why I'm
I like
wearing
the running back room too, and you're right, Toothpick. Scar. I'm not just going to call you Toothpick. You're right. When the offensive line is struggling, I say it every damn time. When you're struggling and you keep throwing the ball, it's passive. Pass blocking is passive. Let them take a shot. Let them run the ball and take some blows and punch the other team for a little while. So,
And
I hate when we don't run the ball. Run the damn ball.
I've been wanting to get Pick on here for a long time. Toothpick, we're gonna have to set up a time for you to come on the show. I 100% agree. Let the offensive line just punish, man, and that will just establishing dominance in the run game will only help Jaden Daniels.
Yes,
and I think that's what's going to happen early. I think Anthony Lynn and Kingsbury, and I was having a conversation with Allison Lansbard or something like that.
Is she actually an Eagles fan?
She is an Eagles fan. She is. She
Yeah.
is a.
You know what that
Eagles
means?
Fan.
The smell of vinegar.
She does a lot of. She's an overall fan too, though. She does a lot of research in teams and had a back and forth with her, because she was just thinking that this was going to be just a straight up air raid offense and that the running game is not really going to, listen. Anthony Lynn was brought here for a reason, to really, get this running game up and going. You have Brian Robinson Jr. You have, they brought Austin Eckler in here. Anthony Lynn was the driver of that. I mean, and who, and if you're going to bring him in here, you're going to use him. Tiki Barber said the other fucking day, and Jesus Christ, man, like he was calling Austin Eckler out because Austin Eckler said he came to Washington because he didn't want to carry the load, and he wanted to be behind a back like Brian Robinson Jr.
He wanted to do what he did when he was successful.
Yeah, exactly. And Barber kind of like went off on me. He's like, real running backs want to carry the ball every single time. Eckler just wants longevity and wants to do what Eckler's a little guy. I don't think many people understand just how small he is. I think he's like 5'7" or something like that, and barely 200 pounds. A lot of wear and tear on that body, and he is getting a little bit older, but he still has enough in his take. And I think he's smart enough to understand, like, hey, to be at my best, I'm going to need to take less carries. And that's, one of the reasons why he came here is because Robinson is going to be that workhorse back.
Yeah.
And Eckler's going to, clean up that being that third down back.
Tiki Barber can suck on it. For one, it's not the same NFL that it was back when he was fumbling the fucking ball. All right. And as I recall, Tiki came into the league and was supposed to be a big part of Thunder and Lightning, right? Because he wasn't supposed to be the all-down back. He was supposed to be the Austin Eckler back with, who the fuck was that guy? Was it Tyrone Wheatley? I can't recall. But, yeah, they were supposed to be Thunder and Lightning. Well, Tiki, you've been out of touch ever since they fucking found out you beat the shit out of your wife. And nobody wants to hear from you. You got thrown off the Today Show and fuck off, you New York Giant. So, yeah, I like what Austin Eckler did because I think it's an admirable thing to say, this is what I'm good at, all right? He tried the number one back role, but the fact of the matter was he was much more effective out of the backfield as a third down back or a change of pace back when he had Melvin Gordon there in front of him in San Diego. And I'm very pleased with them bringing him aboard. His longevity is...
I'm going to try to get Toothpick in here.
All right, his longevity is a secondary concern for me. The fact that he was getting hurt last year when he was trying to carry the load so much, that is a concern to me. I like what he's going to do right now, and I think that they'll use him properly. He can be lightning in a bottle if you use him right. What you think, there, Scotty?
Toothpick, check your DMs on Twitter.
I agree. Yeah, I think Austin Eckler looks good when you see him training, what he's squatting, what he's lifting. He's running fast by the looks of it, but yeah.
Fuck
okay.
them.
So yeah, it's interesting, the running back room. I mean, will Rodriguez stay? Will we keep him? Will we look at one of these undrafted free agents? Will outbeat him to a 53 slot? I don't think so. I think they're the three running backs. We went with three running backs last year, and that's who will be active, I think, this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
B-Rob's going to have a great year, though. I really think he is our most likely breakout star this year.
I'll tell you what, Deuce. Deuce and me have one thing in common above all else, and that is our hatred of the blue people. I can't stand the New York Giants. They are my most hated team. I can't stand them more than anything in the frickin' world. If I caught them in a frickin' room full of dynamite, I'd throw them a match. Here, so you can see yourself blow up. Can't stand them. If I saw their ship go down in the middle of the goddamn ocean, I'd drive over there just to throw rocks at them. So, yes, fuck the blue people. All right, then I think we've covered the roster, and now we've invited somebody in. So
we'll have.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go get a beer. I'll be right back. Y'all can enjoy the silence of my microphone.
No,
thank goodness for that. I mean, look at the difference. What is it with John's microphone? It's like he's in a washing machine.
It's something something's going on with this shit. I don't know. But you sound so much fucking better. I want to ask the audience out there: is it driving the ocean, John? There we go.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'd like to welcome Toothpick from the First String Podcast. What's going on, man? He's going to join us for the last few minutes of the show.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, no problem.
So we'll get you on properly next time as well, because there's not much left of this one. So you need to be here longer.
No worries.
We were talking about the running back room, and what do you think Anthony Lynn is going to bring to the table in our running game?
Well, I really think Anthony Lynn is going to be that coach that says, hey, it's 3rd and 6. We can run the ball here. We don't have to pass the ball. I think Anthony Lynn last year probably would have tackled Eric Bieniemy for calling 15 passing plays in a row.
Oh, my word. Yeah.
55 right. in Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, 55. It's hat day, by the way, there, too.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I had a hat, and I was like, let me throw this out.
Don't worry, man. It's all good.
No.
It is hat day.
I had it right here.
That's right. There you go.
There you go.
So there we go.
A gentleman is not dressed without a hat.
Gotta have your hat. Gotta have your hat, right?
That's right. Even though Scott puts on a hat that makes him look like a longshoreman. There you go.
There
you go. he's hauling cans of
I'm at the fish market, yeah.
Dude's freaking hauling cans of jellied eels around. All right.
Also, really quick, I do believe that, by us having a young offensive line, you have to have these guys going forward.
Yeah,
100%. Driving forward. You can't have them in catch mode the whole game, which is it also does a couple of things for you. It allows your defense to rest, because our defense is going to need a lot of rest.
Yep.
It takes the pressure off of your rookie quarterback.
Yep.
You let them pass in certain downs and distances and things like that, and then you can also move them. You can go play action, bootlegs, and the nakeds by having an effective running game. So you have to lean on this running game, and don't forget that B-Rob did let it out. They're going to go fast.
Oh yeah.
Go fast.
A lot of no huddle. I'm excited to see it.
You keep the defense off balance, and you can do that out of with a 3-wide set. You can do that with 22 personnel. So our run game is going to be it's going to be what we lean on early.
I should hope so. I agree with you 100%. Especially like last year, I was banging the table so hard, because you're right. When they're struggling with pass blocking, run the damn ball, push them out front, let them punch forward, let them hit these guys. And aside from anything else, the obvious is that the defense doesn't really know what's coming after that. Once our offense of all passing was getting us down by 20 points in no time, the defense doesn't need to guess about anything. They can pin their ears back and come on every play. So
the best part about this, the best part about it is not only with Eckler and B-Rob, but then you add Jaden's running prowess to the situation. I really think our run game is going to be the belle of the ball on this team. Taking the pressure off Jaden Daniels, at least for his rookie season. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if we were top 10 in rushing this year.
I'd be happy. I'd be so happy.
It will be better than what we were last year.
Sure. 100%.
By leading the league in pass attempts. I mean, who wants to in pass attempts? No.
As soon as we walk out of the tunnel in Tampa Bay, we're better than last year.
Toothpick, I've got a couple of questions for you. Because we've been talking about it all night. Who is your standout player for the season? Who you think is going to come out and have a fantastic season? And who would be your surprise cut? That's
surprise!
a couple of
Surprise cut
questions.
is not a surprise to anyone. I'm gonna start
Mhm.
there first. De'Ami Brown is gone.
Ooh,
De'Ami
okay.
Brown, De'Ami Brown is gone. And I'm gonna give you.
We're on the same page, man. I said it earlier. These
Anytime
guys looked at me
have
funny.
the wide receivers that come into the NFL now out of college and make an impact, and you got De'Ami Brown who probably has what 15 to 20 catches in three years. You can let that go. You can let that go honestly. And then who is going to lead this team? I tell you what, we've been looking for a quarterback for Ron Rivera's whole 10-year here. I'm gonna go with the quarterback on defense. So I'm gonna go Bobby Wagner.
I think he's already the leader of the team. I think he already is. De'Ami Brown wouldn't be that big of a surprise to me. You're right. He's got 15 to 20 receptions and at least 3 to 4 to 5 that have gone dead through his hands. On deep bombs that he's gotten open, he's got a touchdown, and it would be a game-changing play, and he just doesn't make it.
Yeah,
so,
But the other free agents who've come in can give you that. Zacchaeus can give you that downfield play. You know, there's a lot of people who are in there, and these free agents as well who've come in. We've paid a lot of money for people like Jack Saint and stuff as undrafted free agents. So when they're coming in and they're trying to get on a roster, De'Ami's kind of surplus to requirements, isn't he? Unfortunately, but
I have Zacchaeus as our wide receiver 4 right now.
I do too.
It's the question is, you just mentioned it, Scotty. Bringing in Jack Saint on I believe they paid him a little bit more than.
It was a lot of money. It was a lot of money.
So what do you do there? I mean, how many wide receivers are you going to keep? Are you going to keep 6 or
that kickoff changes the whole dynamic?
We haven't seen 7 here in a long time. Keeping 7 wide receivers here in a long time.
You can't even justify keeping 7. You can't justify keeping 7 when you got to think about it. Our defensive line depth is not that vast behind Deron Payne, Phil.
We were talking about this earlier.
I think Mathis is cut.
Ooh, I don't think Phil is cut. I think Phil's going to get some great coaching this year. I think Phil's going to break out.
I think it's going to be between Ridgeway and Phil.
Yeah, I agree.
One of those two is going to be gone.
Well, I'd hate to see Fedarian Mathis get cut because he came in with a lot of promise. He got hurt right away, and then he got hurt right away again. But and also we do lead the league in Fedarians, and it's nice to have that at least on our side.
Well, we led the league in Joshes a couple of years ago too.
That's true. It's very good.
And none of those Joshes panned out at all.
You can't, dude. Leading the league in Joshes is no good. That's like leading the league in golf shirts. Forget it.
Right.
All right. So I'm with you in terms of the running game. I think that can open things up incredibly for Jaden Daniels. I think that early in the year they'll probably go very conservative and see how it works before they open it up. And I hope we're right when we're talking about this. I hope we're right that they do lean on this run game. They do lean on Brian Robinson, and they let him do what he can do. Because I've seen it. He's that kind of back that after 10 to 12 carries, he gets better. He starts moving. Oh, there you go, Scott. You're looking sharp.
There's a lot of questions that are going unanswered right now because there's I mean, from what we've been told, I mean, Jaden Daniels has already mastered the playbook. I mean, this is coming from Terry McLaurin and others. So, how conservative are they going to be at the start of the season? I mean, how much trust are they going to put in Jaden Daniels in the start of the season? Who knows? We're really not going to know for sure. I think, but a good guess is they're going to just lean on this run game and just pound it. And when it's 3rd and 6 on the 6-yard line, like Toothpick said, let's freaking run the ball.
I agree.
I can tell you, I can give you a for instance, right? And this may happen early. It may happen in preseason, right? But if he does play in preseason, but at some point in time, there's going to be a bad call called in, right? And the question is going to be with his coaches and with his teammates, and will he check to the correct play? Because checking out of a bad call into the correct play versus a defense, if you've mastered the playbook that well, that gives your coaches a lot more confidence in you to get them out of a bad call into the correct call to produce some positive yards. Even if you pick up 2 or 3, you got them out of a negative play. So then that will show the coaches that, hey, they can trust them, give them a little bit more with the game plan. And I'm talking in terms of Jaden Daniels here. Give him a little bit more with the game plan and show that he does have that mastery of the playbook, because it's a week-to-week league, right?
Yeah,
You may play
absolutely.
a really good defense, and Tampa's defense week 1 is going to be a really legit defense. That's a playoff defense from last year. So if he checks them out of a bad play into a positive play, the coaches will have a little bit more faith in him. But if he checks into the wrong play or stays with the wrong play, that's when they lose a little bit and start restricting that playbook a little bit more.
I think this is where that VR is really going to come into play, man. And
Yeah.
I'm very high on this system. I like the fact that we're innovating with this. We saw, I think, the results of what it does. I mean, we heard a lot of questions before the draft about, well, is it his receivers that made him so good? He was not that great when he was with Arizona State, and all of a sudden he shows up here. Well, all of a sudden he showed up there, they put that eyepiece on him, and he started to see these defenses a lot better. And I think it's a combination of all of those things. You're right. You know, you can always say chicken or the egg, is it wide receiver or quarterback? And it's both, all right? And if the wide receiver, or excuse me, if the quarterback has that much of an advantage that he has seen this, what did he say? He can average 250 more reps a week without even touching the ball.
Right.
I think that itself right there gives me great confidence in the fact that he does know the offense. He's a smart guy, and I think that he puts in the work, man. And then that, I think, is really what puts it over the top. As long as they can keep him healthy, and that offensive line didn't get him killed.
Who was the last quarterback that we had that put in good work? Like literally, like who was the last?
Alex Smith.
That put in good work.
Yeah,
Alex Smith. But we had Alex for literally a cup of coffee for real.
Yeah,
Gus Farad, I guess.
I think we've pretty much our last 30 quarterbacks have been here for a cup of coffee. If we're
Dude, I gotta
being
tell you,
honest.
There's a site Sporkle, if y'all don't know about it. It's SPORCLE. It's just a bunch of quizzes, and you type in Washington Redskins, and it'll give you a whole pile of them. And man, can you name all the quarterbacks since our last Super Bowl? And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And no, I can't. No, I can't. No, what? I forgot about that guy.
But I appreciate the work that Jaden Daniels put in, because we haven't heard any of,
nothing negative.
Even back when Kirk Cousins was the quarterback, and he was probably the best quarterback that we've had since, back in, in the heyday.
And he's Super Bowl quarterback. Yeah, he's better than he's been the most consistent quarterback that we've had since,
and we let him walk out the door.
That hit the Super Bowl. Yeah,
we're not going to get in that conversation. That's a whole other conversation right there. But I want to ask you guys this while we're just throwing stuff out there. Okay, we've seen the wide receivers that are coming to the league. They're really, really good. And I think, the 7-on-7 leagues have kind of revolutionized the wide receiver position. The VR, do we think that this is going to start revolutionizing the quarterback position? If more quarterbacks start at a younger age utilizing this, do you think we're going to get better quarterback play, from here on out?
I think it depends on the cost, Jesse, because ultimately that's the thing.
John's talking, but nothing. He's
sorry. I was on mute. I would say I'd be surprised if colleges all over the country weren't starting it, if not already, by just knowing what Jaden Daniels was able to do.
Well, I'm even thinking at even a younger age, like Scott was saying, the cost of it has got to be.
What they say was $1,500 is what they said it was. It was not that much.
That's just for the Oculus. I think the program is a lot more.
The program's ridiculous. But what they're saying now is that basically Jaden was playing. I mean, I listened to the guy from LSU who was his previous coach. He was saying he was playing the game before the game had even started. So if you can play the entire game and you can program it in to say, this is the crowd noise that you're going to experience in the stadium. This is the looks that you're going to get from them, as a defense.
Even where the clock is, the clock is. Go ahead.
I mean, you're not going to get that straight away, because it's going to take time for that to happen. And that's why, in a way, we've got an advantage going into the first few games, because nobody knows this system that we're going to play. Nobody knows what Jaden Daniels is going to do. So we're going to see very, very little of him in preseason. And then from preseason into the first 2 weeks, that's when you've kind of got to build that momentum, because then if you've built that momentum and you've got 1-2 games under your belt as wins, then people finally get tape on you. Well, what do you say, John? What's the rule?
Offense innovates, defense adapts.
Yep.
There you go.
Go ahead, Toothpick.
So I think the 7-on-7 camps actually started for the quarterbacks, right? And maybe it's because of the colleges, how they play things, and it's different. The quarterbacks still take time to develop because defenses adapt, just like you guys just said. But as far as the VR, it's been around for a while. I don't know if you guys remember, there were a couple of commercials, a couple of Super Bowls ago, where people had the VR technology, and it's just that the Heisman Trophy winner this year used it. So I think that the colleges have been doing this with quarterbacks for quite a while, but I think it's the fact that Jaden Daniels went from Arizona State. Went from Arizona State to LSU, a much better program in a much better conference, and he wins the Heisman. That makes people say, hey, let's revisit that technology. But I think these other colleges have been using it for a while. They have all the information already on what they're going to see.
I thought that was just a Michael Vick ride at Disney World.
No. It's been there for a minute. It's been there for a minute. It's just, you had a.
Yeah, I mean, I've been using it in work for 7 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know it's a different program, but it's. Yeah.
But I think the guy that has at LSU, he's the one that kind of like made this programming. And what he was saying is that, you have to make a different. It's like a different. You have to write the program for each team, for each type of defense, for each player's tendencies. You have one player come in, say your starter, say he gets hurt, the backup comes in. Well, you got to put the numbers in. It's like, or you got to reprogram it as to his type of tendencies, what his speed is, how his tackling techniques are, and they've developed a way to actually do that. And I find it fascinating listening to that stuff, even though I'm not necessarily a tech geek because I don't know crap about computers, but seeing the growth that Jade made since he was into LSU, I think that's got to have something to do with it.
I believe it does, and I'm gonna take you back a little bit further off of what you just said, right? You remember when Dwayne Haskins was at Ohio State, and I can't remember. I think it was C.J. Barrett. I can't remember who it was, or J.T. Barrett. I think it was J.T. Barrett that got hurt. And Michigan, they're playing Michigan, and Dwayne Haskins coming in there like, who's coming in? Seven's coming in. And they already knew everything about Dwayne.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take you back further than that. Oklahoma State, and Thurman Thomas was there, and Thurman's backup was Barry Sanders. And they're playing a game. I think it's a national championship game or something like that. And they're telling the defense, do not hurt Thurman Thomas because you don't want to see his backup, because they knew how special he was. So these guys, their scouting departments in college is outstanding. They know everything about these players. The same thing in the NFL. They know everything about these players. And it took me a long way to get to this, but they know everything about it. So what is it that our owner says now? You win off the field, right? It's not there's a salary cap on it, right? There's a salary cap on the field, but there's no salary cap off the field.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and we've seen this ownership, take advantage.
They're going
of that.
after that. Yeah.
So spending that extra money in those departments where you can give your players every resource that they need to be prepared.
Mm-hmm. So how much is
it's about them 1%,
yeah.
isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
AI has really taken off in the last 2 years, right? So now you've got the ability, I think, to be able to tie into this thing and say, okay, AI, run the defense. So that now the defense can do unpredictable things. And even though they're going to use the same sets and the same players that are programmed in, it'll do different things based on the situation of how the mock game is going. I think that really, it's an exciting new time to watch and see what these guys are going to be able to do. Records are going to start falling all over the damn place, and hopefully a lot of them are going to have /commanders after it.
There we
go. That would be nice. That would be really nice.
That's true. Man, I could tell you, man, I really do enjoy you guys' podcast. Today I was able to actually tap in because it's a holiday after for me, so I was able to tap in, and I'm glad you guys recognized. But I'm a strong follower of you guys' podcast, and I really enjoy everything y'all do.
So tell us where we can find your show and how we can get to your show.
All right, I'm on YouTube. I'm on X. Tuesdays and Saturdays at 7:30. Tomorrow we have it's our first Saturday of the month. We throw our question of the month out there, which we give to all of our guests for that month. And then we got a new guy. We got this guy called Bill Hart. He played basketball at Army. So we have him coming on, and he's going to break down the NBA free agency for us tomorrow. And we'll talk a little bit Commanders after that. So we got a jam-packed show for tomorrow at 7:30. YouTube, X, Facebook. We're everywhere.
It's called First String Podcast?
First String Podcast. Yeah, I usually try to catch your Tuesday shows. I'm usually out and about on the Saturdays. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I've been listening to you for a long time, and I definitely appreciate tuning in. We're a podcast that we don't really we're just three guys that love talking football.
It's just a fan show, man. That's all it is.
And then listen, I got to get you guys onto the podcast as well. So
yeah, definitely. And we're gonna get you on. We're gonna try to get you on probably in the middle of training camp when there's a little bit more action. We'll get you on for a full show. And we definitely appreciate you having the time to jump on, and you're definitely welcome back anytime, man.
Brought some great information. I was not aware that the VR had gone back that far, and that's an interesting tidbit. I'm glad you brought that on. Fantastic. And of course, congratulations to the UK for their new Prime Minister, Nigel Twiddington. So, there you go.
Never, yeah.
Well, it's the 5th of July. You got to expect it, and that's just the way it is. We are ungrateful.
Yes, the kissing of the hands ceremony, John, happened at 12:37 today. So there you go. And the new Prime Minister was in the 54th Prime Minister.
I can't even tell if you're serious.
Of this great nation. No, it's called the kissing of the hands.
The kissing of the hands.
Yeah. So what happens is it's honestly, John. I'm not even going to get into it. It's the most brutal thing. It's the most brutal thing you see. You get one guy goes out the door, and then 10 minutes later, the next guy's in the door. It's totally bizarre.
Is there no actual kissing of the hand?
No, he goes to see the king, and they just shake hands. It's not. I think back in the day, you would probably do a kissing of.
I heard a story today, Scotty, about the prime minister that didn't last as long as a head of cabbage. Is that true?
Yes, that's Liz Truss, and that was only 8 months ago.
So a head of cabbage, a head of cabbage.
It was a lettuce, actually. It was a lettuce, not a
lettuce. It lasted longer than the
Yep, she was 24 days in power.
Man, only if we can...
absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
The worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. But anyway, it's just, it is what it is. She is long gone, thank goodness. She brought out a mini budget. She brought out what we call a mini budget. So the Chancellor of the Exchequer, who was a guy called Kwasi Kwarteng at the time, and her decided, we'll spook the stock market by putting through the big program we do.
I don't know what happened to his audio.
And then from there, it was like, right, we're going to...
I think the American standards of podcasting took over for a minute there.
Oh, and then it was just, it's just rat shit because it put everyone's mortgage up by about 500 quid. So, not good. And she was soon gone.
Right. And today's lesson in foreign languages. Thank you, Scott Hartley.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. So there we go. All right, then. Thanks again to Toothpick to come on, man. First String Podcast. That will be tomorrow night at 7:30 on YouTube.
And
Check
Tuesdays.
it out. And Tuesdays at 7:30 on YouTube. And it's a sports panoply. So you've got a basketball player from Army coming on to be able to discuss.
That's going to be awesome.
Discuss free agency of the NBA. That's
appreciate
cool.
everybody in the chat as always. Deluxe and Brian and Yam and everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And Yam, you asked before.
Karen,
what is it about on your timeline we don't understand? These
anime, apparently, John.
Apparently,
anime.
My God, some of that stuff I just don't get it, man.
I haven't got a Scooby what that is. Don't have a clue.
I don't know either, Scotty. But I tell you what.
And Karen, thanks for coming on and busting your husband's balls. We really appreciate that.
And thanks for lending him your hat.
Deluxe.
Yeah,
All right.
Shout out to my daughter as well for this one. So yeah.
Oh, that was her infant hat? Damn, that kid had a big head.
I'm going to show her this, John. She will hunt you down. It'll be like Liam Neeson on. I've got a particular set of skills, John.
You're in trouble now, John.
I've got a massive head, and I'm coming for you. Right. As you can see, Toothpick, we don't stand on ceremony here very much. So feel free.
I already know.
All right, then. Look, he's washing his hands to get out of here. Oh my God. All right. Well, so
Harold Mary's.
We've been on quite a bit. My wife is looking at me saying she's got to cook dinner, and I understand that that's the way it is because otherwise I'm going to get off this podcast and say, "Where's dinner?" and we're going to have an argument. So.
Hopefully next week we'll have some more to talk about.
We'll have some more nonsense to talk about, and I hope everybody enjoyed the first annual Hat Day.
Yeah.
So we have to get Scott. Scott, you need a derby for next time.
I need to get some hats. Yeah, I just don't wear hats. They never wear hats. It's just not a thing.
You should.
Hats make everything look better. Doesn't matter what you do, even if you wear the Del
Look
Monte
dapper.
hat. That's right.
You're a dapper hat wearer.
I don't know about you, Toothpick, but I think that men's fashion peaked about 1952. Double-breasted suits, freaking pocket squares, and a hat.
Nice hat, a nice brim to top it off.
A nice brim to top it off, right? Keep the sun on.
I miss the zoot suit days.
The zoot suit. You probably would wear a fucking.
I have a zoot suit.
You do?
Do you really?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
I went to a 70s party.
Nice.
I had
Wait.
made.
The 70s didn't have zoot suits.
Well, it was before. I'm sorry. I think it might have been 60s. It was the 60s.
Like the
70s.
20s.
Whatever it was. I know I was drunk as hell. But,
Okay.
But I had my zoot suit made.
Right.
I remember that Janet Jackson video with Cab Calloway.
Oh yeah.
And so it was like it was a theme party like that sort of. You know what I mean? So I had my little zoot suit made.
Nice.
It was dapper.
That's
I wish I
all
could
right.
find pictures of it. I would definitely share it, but I definitely can't find any pictures because I was drunk as hell.
Yeah, man. That's the best thing about back in the day. Everybody says, John, you got pictures of that? No, we didn't all have cameras in our pocket.
Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't, and it's a good thing. And now we have jobs to show for it. So
Yep.
That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you again in a week. Thank you very much, Toothpick, for stopping by with us. Scotty, thank you for being a good sport, picking on you all this time after the 4th of July. And Jesse, as always, my friend, we'll see you next time here on the Bleeding Burgundy Podcast.
Later.
Later.